This is going to be another very quick video on how do we start with a basic shape and we can actually convert this into a furniture piece, and that's what we're going to learn today. It's going to be I want to keep it as short as possible, but there are a number of steps that we need to follow. So my suggestion would be that while you're watching this video, don't just watch it, but keep pausing it and keep doing it on your own, so that you are up to speed and you'll know all this the steps that I'm going to do in this, like perform in this video or execute. They have a reason behind it and you'll understand what we're doing. Okay, so the first thing that we start with is of course a cube, and I'm going to turn this into a couch. At least I'll try to do that. So I want to scale it, so I'm going to press S and make it a little bigger. Okay, then to change the shape, I will go to the edit mode on top, and this is the mode which is a magical mode because it gives you so many different options to do absolutely anything that you can imagine in your mind. Okay, so while I'm in the edit mode, what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this option. If you see on top, just right next to the edit mode, it's the third option. It's called the face select option. So I've clicked on that and I'm going to select the top face. Okay, and I'm going to hold down the shift key on my keyboard. So while I'm holding it down, I'm also going to select the front face. So I wanted to select these two together. So I first selected the top face, and while I am holding down the shift key, I also selected the front face. I did this because I basically eventually want to get rid of these two. So I'm going to press X on my keyboard, which is for deletion. And then it gives me so many options that what do you want to delete from this shape. So I want to delete the faces which I have already selected, the top one and the front one. So I'm clicking on faces, and that gives me like a hollow cube. Okay. Next thing that I want to do is to turn this into a sort of a couch. So for that, I'll have to go through a number of things and tools. So from the left hand menu, I will go to the loop cut option. I'm going to select it like just by clicking on it. So loop cut is selected, and then if you go, just bring your mouse on the shape and you'll see these yellow lines appearing vertically, horizontally. So this is to make cuts in your shape. Okay, so I want to make a horizontal cut. So while I'm here on my shape, I'm going to click. Okay, it makes a horizontal cut. Okay, I don't want to make any more horizontal cuts like these. I don't want this. I want one vertical cut. So I'll just bring my mouse here, and while my yellow lines are showing up on the shape, I'm going to click and make a vertical cut. So as you can see, I've made like horizontal and vertical cut across the all the faces of the shape. Okay, then I'm going back here on top. The third option is face select, which we used earlier. I'm going to use it again. So face select again, and I'm going to select, oops, sorry, I have to use the select box too. Okay, so select box here and this option, and then you're going to select this and then hold down your shift key, and while you're holding it down, select this face also. So you are on this sort of a camera angle right now, and you can see the two faces I've selected. Now I want to push these down, so I'm going to press G for grabbing. So but I will not hold it down, so just press it once and release, and then press Z and release it. Okay, so bring this down. With G and Z, you're grabbing those portions and bringing them down. Okay, and then I also want to push this back, but this time I don't want to just push the faces back. I just want to select the edges. So I'm going to use this option here, edge select thing, and I'm going to select the top edge, which is showing as white now. And while I'm holding down the shift key, I'm also going to select this edge. So the opposite edges. Okay, earlier we worked on the opposite faces, but now only the top edges of those faces. And this time I'm going to press G, I'll release G, and then I'll press Y and I'll release it. Okay, so this is to push the edges back. Okay, now I think you will understand why we are using these options and what's the purpose of this. Okay, so this is the basic shape, but of course there is a lot of work still left to be done on this. So I'm going back to the object mode out here. Okay, and then I want to smoothen it out, like really give it a, these are very sharp edges. Okay, so I want to give it a thickness, and then I want to smoothen the sharp edges so that it actually looks like a couch in the end. So I am going to go to the modifiers here. On the right side, it's the blue color, like a tool option. And if you go to modifiers, you can add modifier. There are so many out there which we will eventually use in our projects, but for this one, we want to work with the subdivision surface modifier. So I'll click on it once, okay? And over here in levels, I'm going to select 2. Okay, you can even do 3, but I think 2 is a good option for this project. So 2, and then click on this drop down and click apply. Okay, the next thing that I want to do is, now you can see the edges have been sort of are looking softer. Okay, the next modifier that I want to add is to add thickness to it. So I'm going to click on add modifier again and go to solidify, right? And over here I have to just work on the thickness of the couch. So when I was actually doing it earlier, I think 0.16 or 1.5 is a good enough thickness for a start. So I've changed it here, and then I'm going to click on the drop down and I'm going to apply it. Okay, so this is like the basic shape, but still we need to work on it further to add color to it and add more thickness to it and do some work. So I'm going back to the edit mode again, right? And this time you are going to see these options again, like these lines or the subdivisions which we had created basically. Okay, and then I want you to go to the loop cut once again. Okay, but I want you to make a loop cut across the rim like this. See, across the rim of the couch you're going to make one cut. So while this yellow is selected, you just click and you'll see the orange line that has appeared. Okay, so while this orange line is showing up, please don't click anywhere outside, otherwise you will end up deselecting it. So while this is selected, press S for scaling, okay, and give it a little like that kind of a thickness. You know, you see that beveling or elevation, give it that sort of a thing. Okay, and the next thing that I want you to do is go to the select option. Okay, and this time you gotta select some of these edges. So you should be on the edge select mode, and you select this and hold down the shift key and select 4 of these and keep holding down the shift key, don't release it, select these, and on the seat select 1 2 3 and 4, and then 1 2 3 and 4. Okay, don't click anywhere outside, otherwise you will end up deselecting them. So while they are showing up as orange, which means they are selected, now press Command B. B is for beveling, so Command B for Mac, and if you are on Windows it should be Control B. So for me it's Command B, and I'm going to give it a little kind of a bevel, not too thick but a little bevel. Okay, you'll know why I'm doing it. So I've just beveled it and clicked it, so which means it's there. Okay, do not click anywhere outside, otherwise again you will end up deselecting these options, and we need them now. Okay, so while this is selected, I am just safely gonna go back to the object mode. Okay, they don't show up here, it's fine, it's okay, they are still selected in the edit mode and we are fine with that. Okay, then while this is my current sort of state of my couch, I am again gonna go to the add modifier and I'm going to go to the subdivision again. Okay, and I'm going to add one more, like 2 subdivisions again to smoothen it out. Like if you see, this is now smoothened out. Okay, and I'm going to click here and I'm going to apply. Okay, so this is done, and the last part of my project is going to happen in another different mode, which is, again, we'll do it more in detail later, but for this project I'll just give you a little preview of what's sculpt mode. So if you click on here, you can go to sculpt mode. Okay, this is like your basic sculpting that you do with clay physically, but you can actually do it digitally here. So here there are a number of steps that we need to do. First of all, when you go to the sculpt mode, I want you to really just scroll down on the left side, the tools, okay, and come up with this one, which is called the cloth filter. So click cloth filter. Okay, on the right side you go to this tool and it shows up cloth filter. Okay, over here, the first thing that I want you to do is to select the filter type as inflate, because we're going to inflate it. Okay, like to give it a proper couch shape. So I want the inflation to happen. So inflate. Okay, and the second thing, always remember, we're going to inflate on the face sets. So whatever these side and the back and the seat faces are, I want to inflate my couch on those portions, right? So that's why inflate and use face sets. And the last thing before I start inflating it is just go to face sets here on top and say that I want to just inflate it from the face sets which were selected in edit mode. Okay, if you remember those little selections we had made in edit mode, we want to select it from there. Okay, so now those selections which were done in the edit mode are showing up here for you. Okay, now all you have to do, this is the, I would say, the most I don't know, I should say scariest part, because if you mess this up, okay, you will have to just undo it. Okay, like undo meaning control Z and just go back a few steps, but just go and very sparingly and very softly click somewhere like on the back face or on the seat and just try to inflate your sofa couch. Okay, don't do it too hard, otherwise it's gonna be a very bad shape. Like I can show you, if I do it here, I can actually end up spoiling it. Okay, like somewhat like that. Okay, so I will control Z and I'll try to inflate it a little bit, maybe. I don't know, I just feel like I don't want to mess it up, but yeah, just inflate it from wherever you feel like it needs inflation and gives you a nice couch shape. Okay, so I will actually just leave it here, but yeah, I think like maybe it needs some more smoothing out here. Yeah, but we can do all of that later, and once you add color and sort of shine to it, it will look better. Okay, so from here I'm gonna go back to my object mode. Okay, this is how it looks like, but I want to add it, like add some colors to it. So I am going to go to this one which is called the material. Okay, and it shows that there is a material out there, but the base color is white, which I don't want. I would want to be somewhat like maybe a black or a very dark, I don't know what, but I can actually just reduce this down from here. Okay, make it black. And of course you can't see the changes because I will have to go from here top and I will have to go to the viewport shading mode to see how it is looking like. So you can really just change the color, make it black or whatever color, I don't know, just choose what you want. Okay, and there are various options here that you can play around with. Honestly, like you can decide on your own. If you want the metallic sort of texture, you can add, let's say, 0.4. Yeah, which like looks like a little bit shiny, I don't know. You can play around with it and see how it looks like. Okay, you can increase the roughness of it as well if you want. Okay, so this is how it's gonna look like. But also in the object mode you can select the sofa couch, I keep calling it something else, but right click and shade smooth. Okay, when you shade it smooth, those little those subdivisions that we created will go off and it will look like a real couch. Okay, it's not perfect as I said, but it actually kind of looks like a couch, and these little divisions that we created, now you can see why we created that. Okay, if you want to add those little legs below it, you can use the cylindrical shapes and scale them down and create it. But yeah, this is how the couches could be created. Play around with more options, and yeah, I guess that's about it.